I've decided that the weights in my scooter and my CVT aren't heavy enough, since I'm not getting up to the full 7,500 RPM that I'm shooting for. Right now I'm using a combination of 12 gram and 10 gram weights for a total of 11 grams. I'm going to replace the 12 gram weights with just the 10 gram weights for a total of 10 grams. So let's get started. In addition to the normal assortment of wrenches and sockets and screwdrivers, you are also going to need a impact wrench. This one I got from Harbor Freight and Tools for about 20 bucks. This one's actually extra convenient because it plugs into a 12-volt battery, which means if you blow your belt while you're driving, you could actually use this one to replace your belt while you're out in the middle of nowhere. Alright, so when you're taking the bolts out of the CVT, you need to make sure that they go back in the same order. Stan from OregonVintage.com had a good idea to take a piece of cardboard and poke holes in it for each bolt that you take out and put it in so you know where they came from and put them back in the same order. I'm going to use the side of the box that I keep my CVT stuff in. Okay. First thing that we need to remove is the kickstarter, or at least the lever for the kickstarter. So you just need to loosen it off and pull it straight out. Okay. Next thing that we need to do is, of course, get all the bolts off from around the edge of your the cover of the CVT. And for this, I need a extension. So now we have all of the bolts off, but still in order, so we can put them all back in. You'll notice on the bottom side here, completely different sizes on each of them, so you can see why this is a good idea. And there's the cover, still sitting on there, but no bolts in it. Okay. So be careful when you're pulling it off, because I guess you can actually pull the components of your Kickstarter right off there. Also, there's a gasket in here, which I plan on reusing. So you want to be careful when you're pulling it off that you don't tear the gasket either. On the inside you can see all the dust from my new belt that I put on as it started wearing in. Most of that I'll take off, get out of there before I put that back on. Now we can see the insides of the CVT drive. The back here we've got the, this is the gasket that's going to be going back on there when we put it back on. On the back here we've got the clutch assembly, which I'm not going to be messing with today. And on the front, this is the variator with the weights in it. This is where we're going to need to use our impact wrench. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. Make short work of taking this little nut off. You can pull off the outer part of the variator. Make sure you don't lose the bolt, the washer. This is the Dr.Pully Variator. Now you need to just take the belt off of there. And here it popped loose from the clutch back there. Pull the whole assembly out. Take out this inside part here. And you'll notice also there's little spacers here that probably help it slide up and down.
Dan likes to throw his pulleys around.
These are the Dr.Pully wedge-shaped weights, And the way I can tell the difference between the 10 and the 12 gram is on the inside, short of weighing them of course. This one actually has less metal on the inside than the 12 gram. So these are the 10 gram ones, which are the ones that I'm going to be keeping. The 12 gram ones are the ones that I'm replacing. Okay, in putting these in, you need to make sure that on these ones, the Dr.Pully goes on the top.
What if they have the other kind?
The other kind are round, so you don't need to really worry about which way they go in. And the numbers are at the bottom, so mine say 18, 14. Those go towards the bottom of the weights. Okay, so now I've got my new lighter weights in there. Slide this guy back on. Back in the middle. Slide the whole assembly back in there, making sure that it doesn't come loose while you're doing it so that the weights don't come out. Putting the belt back on, you can pull the clutch out with your fingers, careful with your fingers, and slip it in there so that it's as loose as possible when putting it on the front part. Now we'll slide this guy back on here, keeping the belt loose so that
Washer goes on.
washer.
Bolt goes on. Impact wrench does its thing. Now we just need to put the cover back on after wiping out some of the dust that's in there. And we're all done. So now I'll just put my seat and everything back on and we'll take it out for a try. Alright, so the results were definitely an improvement. Gone a flat stretch, went from about 6,800 to about 7,300 RPM, which is just about where I wanted it to be. And definitely got probably about 5 miles an hour improvement up some of the hills that I go up pretty frequently. So definitely a worthwhile endeavor.